We already solved it.
I don't know what that is.
Weird, considering we found it hidden in your room.
Well, my room is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there. I don't mean like... Please stop talking to me. I think it's kinda cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Does Penny not let them out to fly?
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't think they're allowed to go far. Penny can be a little... protective. Never seen that one before. Was it in the greenhouse?
No, we found it in Penny's room.
Right.
Do you know where those earmuffs came from?
I put them there.
Why?
I found them lying around. I think they belonged to Fitz. I put them on the statue so he'd see them. I thought they looked like headphones, like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. I can't remember exactly. I see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet. Those petals,
What about them?
it's nothing. They're just unusual. Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music room?
Yes. I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano. Feathers flashing in the light, from a sunbeam gleaming bright. I shield my eyes and turn my head, but all at once I've been misled. Light is shining on the stage, but through the railings of a cage. Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the hour.
I need to confirm something with you, Poppy.
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. Acid jazz?
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
Why not?
Not my color.
You used to like these colors.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the cassette tape. Something that proves Poppy used to like these colors. Let's take a closer look at this. The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player used by Poppy in this old photo.
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it. You look a little different, but Fifi and Freya are pretty recognizable. It's clearly a photo of you with your two best friends. Why'd you tear it up and then hide it?
I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it. Makes this whole thing seem kind of irrelevant.
Maybe? It depends on the reason.
The reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore?
The passage of time is a powerful thing.
Hold on. This means that pink cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
So we found this.
Oh, that's nothing.
You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I wanted to ask about. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're fake.
You think so?
Maybe not. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're from red roses. And there's only one place in Tangle Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses. And who did... It's a drawing of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those two bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them. We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to know what they were up to.
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage. She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
We need a clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden. Let's take a closer look at these. This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
I can't stand it, knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days, but being with Poppy seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
There are weeds in
It's an
there.
aquarium?
Could be. Anymore.
Professor Pointer's a respectable, keeps himself to himself. What?
We're just surprised.
That was the most polite you've been about anyone.
I find her rather embarrassing. Little more than a spoiled child.
Penny must be at least 25.
27. Just makes it worse. I'll say this. He's well suited to physical labor.
That's a nice way to put it.
Fitz spends most of his time alone in the greenhouse. But I heard he's been breeding experimental flowers.
Whoa, scandal.
I just wonder if he's getting... Poppy has remarked she could be famous, wealthy even, if she wanted to.
She'd probably have to leave Tangle Tower first.
Quite. Did you get anything useful out of him?
Not sure. What about you?
Nothing worth committing to paper.
I think he knows more than he lets on.
Probably. But talking with him is so tedious.
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up-close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client. These figurines remind me of a case I once solved involving a possessed doll. Turned out to be a bit of a smokescreen, as these things often do.
Your life sounds fun. Grimoire, why don't we ever have fun adventures like that?
Are we not having a fun adventure right at this very moment?
I'd tell him not to quit his day job, but he hasn't got one, has he? This is a potential murder weapon, is it not?
I don't know. I don't think the murderer would leave the murder weapon just lying around.
I think you'd be surprised as to what people leave lying around. The people here are surprisingly materialistic, considering how sheltered they are.
Materialistic?
Growing this fruit simply because it produces a gemstone-like material. For what possible purpose, other than financial gain?
You're speculating.
What would you do, Grimoire, if you could grow valuable stone straight from the earth? Where did you find this?
Do you have any theories about where this might have been?
Or who might have had it?
I have several theories, but they are my theories, and I'm not going to share them. What is that?
I'm not sure. It looks like it attaches to something else.
Why don't you go back and double-check the area you found it? Maybe you'll find the rest of the something else.
I'm not so sure about that.
Some breed of amphibious humanoid, potentially bipedal, although none of the statues show the creature's feet.
I guess we'll never know.
These people really are ridiculous, aren't they? And you consider that important evidence, do you? 3 birds, 1 cage. What makes them worth keeping cooped up, I wonder? Would they not be happier flying free?
But then they might fly away from Tangle Tower entirely.
I wonder if they would. Who's that?
Not sure. It doesn't really look like anyone we've met so far.
Strange. One of 3 statues depicting the same creature. This one is wearing headphones. Perhaps they belong to someone who likes music.
They're not headphones. They're earmuffs. For blocking out sound.
Perhaps they belong to someone who doesn't like music. Do you also have a pile of leaves as a clue?
Oh, not yet. Did you see some suspicious leaves? There's something about something.
Let's ask her about it.
This little microscope thing, you said you used it to search the greenhouse.
And this would make perfect sense, if you knew what my client had asked me to find. Of course, I still have no intention of disclosing that information.
You're such a tease, Hawkshaw. Don't worry, we already worked out what you're searching for.
That's not right. 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 That's not right.
You're not as hopeless as you look.
Thanks.
So, that's what you were looking for in the greenhouse? This beetle?
Surely even you can understand the logic of it. The greenhouse is home to a great many insects. The gardener could have easily kept the beetle hidden in there.
Well, Fitz said you questioned him, but didn't actually search the greenhouse.
He is not exactly the type to appreciate subtlety. He simply didn't notice that I was using my microscope.
What do you reckon, Grimoire?
I know for a fact she didn't use the microscope in the greenhouse. It's not a microscope at all.
All of a sudden, Detective Grimoire is some kind of expert on microscopes.
The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a fake glass lens. So Hawkshaw lied about it. Almost. Maybe just... The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a magnifying glass. So Hawkshaw lied about it. Almost. Maybe... The handheld microscope, according to Fifi, uses a telescopic lens, so Hawkshaw lied about it. I'm inclined to believe Fifi when it comes to stuff like this.
Hawkshaw, why did you lie about owning a telescope?
When you were a child, what did you aspire to become?
A detective? Naturally.
Emperor of the Galaxy?
I wanted to be an astronomer.
Really?
I harbored a desire to understand the secrets of the wider universe. A fool's errand, to be sure, but a seductive one. At 15, I decided instead to apply my intelligence to the world around me, and so I became a detective. But the yearning for elusive knowledge is a powerful force. I tried to keep it with me.
Sorry, but we're way off track. What's the deal with the little telescope?
A memento from my childhood. Little more than a toy.
Why did you bring it with you?
When I discovered that it was Professor Pointer who had hired me, I dared to consider it something of a planetary alignment. I had hoped he might sign my telescope. An extremely childish indulgence, I admit.
I never would have guessed.
Hold on. You're admitting you didn't use it in the greenhouse then?
Correct. As it happens, I have no need to search the greenhouse to such a degree. Professor Pointer doesn't consider the gardener a suspect in our theft investigation.
So, who is your suspect?
Things have become complicated. My lead suspect is your murder victim.
I imagine you don't visit the astronomy tower too often, do you?
No, but I still see Pointer, sometimes. He's always curious about what I'm growing. Asks me about the birds, too. He's pretty clued up.
I didn't think there was much over...
Penelope is my fiancée.
Don't take this the wrong way, but Penny doesn't really strike me as your type.
She's not who she pretends to be. People think she's... well, they make assumptions.
And how's the relation?
Good. It's good. Poppy and I are friends.
Oh, I can buy that. Dark clothes. Oh, you like 2 peas in a pod.
She's very kind, and she has an interest in plants. I've been teaching her.
Right.
Is something wrong? I've seen beetles with bright... They're relatively common. There's a difference between that and actual gold.
It can't be actual. Gold is just inside. It's called alchemy. It was.
I don't know what that...
Me neither.
Me 3. Oh, sorry. I thought you said me too.
What's with the broke... Those petals, they,
What?
they're red. A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower.
Okay.
Mean anything to
Why
you?
would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to. Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over
Are
them.
they like her
Oh,
pet?
they have names. Penelope loves to name
Do
things.
you remember what
I
she
do
did?
not.
Any idea who this is?
No, I... Wait, those are mine. They went
earmuffs.
missing about a week
What do
ago.
you need earmuffs
I
for?
use them for gardening.
Why? You don't.
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people
That's
from...
genius.
We found these up in the... Do you know how long...
No, could we don't ever...
Why not?
Nature is unruly.
Name: Penelope Pointer. Age: likes birds. Notes: Penelope. I've never had very much. Why did Poppy leave shards?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music. Who is this her?
Well, I...
Then how can I meaningfully... Next! It is a flower. It reminds me... I am scared.
Why?
It is an irrational fear.
Oh. Who is that?
I'm quite...
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not. What a mess. Penelope should tidy up.
These weren't dropped, I think.
My argument stands.
I'm still not
Should
sure.
we take another look?
Let's come back later.
Percival Pointer. So,
That is not.
I'm just saying. Holds on to a lot just because he's old. Slightly, but
And how long have you...
over 35.
Childhood friends?
Don't know if I'd... Penelope seems... She struggled a bit when she...
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle. And he really... Now, of course, she's bringing... It's a nice jest. But futile. Poppy's a good friend. I think they get on well.
Different, like how?
Poppy is, Fiona... Still, Poppy always seems to be...
Heavy
Fits? Nice. Slippery.
an onion.
Did you two have...
No, no. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. Yes. Ah, you. What, I had to rush. It turned out
What's
all...
it supposed-
It's Flora. Surrounded. I've been kind. I was hopeless.
Do you paint them yourself?
I do indeed. Nowadays, I can make... Of course. This...
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a...
Of course, but my weapon... Safety first. I've never seen that. That looks like... What's this all...
I'm pretty
If
sure...
it's made of gold... What is it?
We don't
My
know.
friends.
That's the most depressing.
Now this is still...
What about those shards?
Looks like somebody hunting. Goodness. That looks like a bizarre thing. Penelope seems
Do you
rather...
not feel sorry for them?
Come now. Oh dear.
Do you know who this is?
Not a clue.
The statue was...
Yes, it's been there. You can see the brass, not true. Is that a clue?
It might be. There's something about feeling... Something.
Let's ask him about it.
There's something about the... Something.
Let's ask her about it.
So, this painting, specifically that knife...
Yeah, it's creepy. So, what's going on?
It's not a knife. We need a clue to compare with. Something to explain what...
That kinda makes sense. That's not it. 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 We'll get to that in a minute.
Let's take a closer look at this. The painted knife is actually just a feather from an ink-dip bird.
It's definitely the right... But the book's not in color. The thing Flora's holding in the painting is red. Is there anything to suggest that the ink... This little thing? I don't understand why Felix would come to think of it. Why...
The ink-dip bird was Penny's pet, so she kept a single feather to remember it by. Almost. Maybe just... The ink-dip bird was Penny's pet, so she kept a single feather to show her friends. Nope. The ink-dip bird was Flora's pet, so she kept a single feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe it flew away.
Flora spends all her time staring out the window.
Either way, she kept the feather. I think it was pretty important to her.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now? You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah, I think she does. Normally. This is where Flora usually keeps her feather.
That we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm. Completely empty. Flora? She's pointing at something in the...
It's just a plate.